Hello, music lovers. Thank you so much for stopping by the channel. Let's talk about Iron Maiden. They just went on the road again. New tour, Legacy of the Beast tour. It's a bit more of a retrospective kind of set. Last year they were on tour with Ghost, actually. I caught that show. That was really good. As a matter of fact, I just did a video about Ghost. I'll put the link for it. But the tour that Maiden did last year was in support of their new album called Book of Souls. That's been out about a year now. And so, whenever Maiden goes out with a new album, they tend to play a lot of brand new stuff. I mean, most of that show, I think, was brand new stuff. But then they pay you back by doing another tour that is more of a look back, and they dig out some stuff they haven't played in a long time, a lot of the classic stuff they can really get in there and focus on. So that's what I get the feeling this tour is. It's more of a retrospective, and most of the songs in this set list are from the earlier days, early to mid days with Bruce Dickinson. So this show is from Estonia from May the 26th. That was the kickoff of the new tour just a few days ago. And they kick off the show with Churchill's speech. Does that sound familiar? Yeah, that's from the Powerslave tour. So that's really, really cool. And of course, that gets you right into Aces High from the Powerslave album. Then after that, they go into Where Eagles Dare. Now, this is a great track that opens up the Peace of Mind album, and they do about 4 songs from that album here. This is the first time that they've played Where Eagles Dare since 2005. So great to see that song in there. Then they do 2 Minutes to Midnight, another great song off of Powerslave. And then they do a song called The Klansmen from the Virtual X album. This is an album that they did without Bruce Dickinson. This was during that phase where they had a guy named Blaze Bayley, and I never cared for any of that stuff. Musically, it might have been cool, but I didn't like Blaze's vocals, and I just, I don't ever listen to any of those albums. And they actually do, I think, 3 songs from the Blaze Bayley era. And these are no songs that Bruce hasn't already sung live before. It's just been a while since they've dug these out. They also do The Trooper and Revelations. Great, great tracks from the Peace of Mind album. So, right off the bat, we've already got 3 songs from Peace of Mind, 2 songs from Powerslave. Then they go into a song called For the Greater Good of God, which is from one of their more recent albums, A Matter of Life and Death. I haven't played that since 2007. Then they pull out the Wicker Man, which is from Brave New World. They haven't played that since 2011. And Brave New World was the first album that Bruce Dickinson was on when he rejoined them. And so that's a great, great song. Sign of the Cross, that was from X Factor, an album that did not have Bruce. It had Blaze Bayley. Again, don't care for the song a whole lot. Never really cared for Blaze. Although Bruce behind it, doing it live, that's something to see. And then they do Flight of Icarus. Now, they haven't played Flight of Icarus since 1986. So that right there is the nugget in this set list. Flight of Icarus, of course, another track on the Peace of Mind album. Then we get Fear of the Dark, which has been in the set a lot lately. It was on the last tour. As a matter of fact, there are 4 songs that they carried over from the last tour, and that's one of them. And that was from the album of the same name, Fear of the Dark. That was the last album to have Bruce Dickinson before he quit. And I never really was a fan of that. I wasn't a fan of their last 2 albums with Bruce before he quit. I think that the band was kind of running out of gas. And, I really wish they would let that song go a bit and put something else in there. Number of the Beast, great track from that album. And then Iron Maiden from the very first album. Again, that song, actually that one and Number of the Beast and Fear of the Dark and The Trooper, so far the only carryovers from the last tour. Then they come back for the encore with The Evil That Men Do. Great track from the Seventh Son of a Seventh Son album. And then Hallowed Be Thy Name from Number of the Beast and Run to the Hills. So, great set list here. You got a lot of stuff from Peace of Mind, some stuff from Powerslave, Number of the Beast, a track from Seventh Son. You know, those are the pros. The cons are going to be a little bit too much Blaze Bayley stuff. There's nothing from Somewhere in Time. Would have loved to have seen something from that, especially Wasted Years. I mean, that's my favorite all-time Maiden song. Always loved that. And they did play it last tour, but I would love to see that one again. Nothing from Killers. Would have rather seen something from Killers than the Iron Maiden song from the first album. I think they can kind of let that go. I never really cared for that either. There's also nothing from No Prayer for the Dying, which is probably a good idea. Nothing from Dance of Death or the last two albums that they've come out with. So overall, this is a great set. I would go see this show. And this is one badass band. I mean, I've been into Maiden since I'm a teenager, back in the 80s. And Bruce Dickinson is just one badass dude. I mean, this guy has beat cancer. He wrote a book. He flies a plane. He flies the same plane that the band tours with. Like, he flies the band around. And oh yeah, one other thing. He actually took over from the original lead singer, Paul Di'Anno, and took the band into a whole new place, a whole new level. You know, we often talk about Van Halen or AC/DC, you know, where singers came in and, you know, took the band into a whole new place, like Sammy Hagar. Well, Bruce Dickinson doesn't get enough credit. He took over for Paul Di'Anno, who was he was a good singer in his own right. First two albums are good, especially Killers. You could really tell that that band was on its way, and Bruce Dickinson stepped in and he took them just where they needed to go. An amazing singer, an amazing frontman. He kind of reminds me of Freddie Mercury. Like what Freddie was to Queen, Bruce is to Maiden. A dynamic frontman. He's the guy that you're out there watching. He knows how to grab the audience, have them eating out of his hand. The kind of guy where if you don't have him, you really don't have Maiden. That's why I never really cared for the Blaze Bayley stuff. So anyway, what do you think? What do you think of this set? Would you go see Maiden? What would you change in this set list? And put it all below. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up. If you like it, up the irons too. And hit subscribe, and I'll talk to you later.